sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Angus is a police officer and writer, a student of life and a fan of crime and adventure fiction. He grew up watching the TV, Private Eye and cop shows of the 80s, rocking to the music of the 80s and reading classic crime and action stories, some of which were written in the 80s. I'm sensing a theme, Angus. So Angus is, you've written almost as many books as Nalini. There is a large number of books.
You're breaking my shit.
So tonight Angus is going to read Smoke and Mirrors for us.
Thanks, Kirsten. This is a passage about a third of the way through the book. This story is a black ops thriller with an ex-SAS guy who's taken on to work for the SIS, the spooks, doing black ops, basically wasting bad guys, which most blokes want to do. Except he's ballsed up his first operation. The service doctor had patched the wound on Archer's hip and sent him on his way with clear instructions on wound care. Archer hardly listened, partly because he was a trained medic anyway, but mostly because he was so angry with himself. He'd let his target get away on his first mission, and there was a fortunately grainy photo from somebody's cell phone of him at the centre of a media frenzy, and he'd received an immediate forthwith to the director's office. As soon as he shut the office door, Archer felt the wrath of the man. "I thought you were supposed to be a bloody professional, Archer," the director told him coldly. "All I've seen so far is amateur hour, and my balls are in a sling because of it." Archer stood stiffly in front of the desk, fixing his gaze on a painting on the wall opposite. It was a dark oil painting of some kind of old-fashioned English countryside scene, with an effeminate-looking shepherd boy and his dog. Archer had never followed art at all and had no idea whether it was an original or a print. It didn't matter much right now, as long as it kept his focus from the director's icy gaze. The last thing we needed was to have this plastered all over the media, but that's what I now have to deal with, and what I have to try and explain to the PM. The director wasn't a pacer. He sat perfectly still behind his desk, hands flat on the surface. Somehow his physical calmness made the fury in his words more noticeable, and Archer suddenly felt very isolated and vulnerable. "I gave you 3 rules for this mission. No publicity, no collateral, and 4 days to do it in. You've got us on the breaking news with a trail of wrecked cars and bullet casings behind you." "In a timely fashion, then, sir." Archer's attempt at levity was poorly timed. The director's expression told him that a fresh turd on his dinner plate would have been more welcome. "This agency has made an excellent name for itself, and in one fell swoop that's been torn down by one man's inability to carry out a simple task. Any fool could have embarrassed a government like this." Archer bristled at the jibe, and the director picked up on it immediately. "Did you have something to say in your defence, Archer?" he inquired. "I'd love to hear it." Archer stopped staring at the effeminate shepherd boy and looked at the other man. "Go ahead and take it."
So sorry I brought it all.
"You have a leak," he said flatly. It was the director's turn to bristle, and his nostrils flared. He pursed his lips and fixed Archer with a withering look. "And what the hell gives you licence to make accusations like that?" he snapped. "You've got a bloody cheek." "Well, how the hell did that debacle happen then?" Archer snapped back. "Those cops were gunned down in the elevator. They were ambushed. Yasser had helped to get out of there. If the details were kept so secure, then it shouldn't be too hard to find out who talked. You watch your tongue, and you watch your back." The director stood now and glared across the desk at him. Archer glared straight back, and for several moments neither man backed down. "You're an arrogant son of a bitch," the director said frostily. "You think I don't realise that? I've been living in the shadows since you were jerking off to Commando comics, son. So don't come, that's my favourite line, by the way. So don't come in here shouting the odds and stating the obvious. You've spent your adult life as a blunt instrument, a sledgehammer for cracking nuts, but you're in a different world now. It's a world of shadow dances and half-truths, where more often than not the easy way is the wrong way, where you don't trust your enemies and you certainly don't trust your friends. Nothing is what it seems until you've triple confirmed it, and every move we make is calculated for a purpose. Our actions can bring down government, so we don't have the luxury of a practice run." The director paused to let that sink in. People told me you were the right man for the job, but it appears they may have been wrong. Were they wrong, Archer? Archer took a slow breath and rolled his jaw to ease the tension before speaking. No, sir, he replied softly, they weren't wrong. The director considered him for a long moment, as if mulling over his decision. I sincerely hope not, but for now the mission's not over. Get out there and finish it. He paused before continuing. If you get it wrong again, I'll have your bloody guts for garters.
Thank you, Angus. Your website says, welcome to the home of spies, private eyes and tough guys. Is that what you are, or is that a version of yourself?
I'm not a spy or a private eye. Certainly not a tough guy. No, pure fiction. It's just, that's what I write about. I don't write romance or fantasy or bloody fairies in the forest or any of that sort of bollocks. It's not bad. No offence to anyone who writes about that, by the way. I like action-based stuff.
But you write under a pseudonym, so I'm curious to know whether you turn into someone different when you're writing compared to who you are in your day job.
According to my wife, I'd probably turn into the lazy bastard who's not doing anything at home. No, work's work. You can put your work hat on, go to work, do the business, go home, go back to being husband, dad, lazy bastard who does nothing at home. Yeah, just your normal housey stuff. Yeah.
So Amazon tells me your first book came out in 2014, a lifetime ago. How has your writing changed since then? And have you found yourself expanding your repertoire or narrowing down your niche to post-apocalyptic crime like Stand Fast, your latest release?
I would like to think that it's got better. I look back on some of the early books. In fact, I think Jeannie was actually my first review ever. Thanks, Jeannie. Yeah, I look back on some of it and go, oh shit, that was a bit hairy. But I still appreciate it for what it was. You know, you've got to start somewhere. So I definitely think I've got better. I think I probably have narrowed down my focus more. My early stuff was all private eye stuff, quite light-hearted. Yeah, just fun private eye stuff based on the TV shows and that sort of thing I watched as a kid. Now, Magnum P.I., he's a good bastard, but he'll probably slip on the banana skin. He's going to get growled by Higgins. Can't afford to pay his bar bill, all that sort of stuff. Like, I like that kind of thing. He's just an average Joe, but there's action, and he might get the girl if he's lucky. He'll have a car chase and a punch up, and I like all that sort of stuff. But I kind of veered away from that a little bit into definitely getting the girl and killing lots of bad guys.
Thank you. Lovely.
Thank you.